What's up, everyone, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends. At this time, welcome back to the DJ Life Podcast. We have Erik Massengale. We were joking about off camera. We were joking about all the damn intro sayings that are overused in the MC world of DJing.
I'm literally in like a deer in headlights in the moment.
Erik's
typing to this bride right now. I'm sorry.
Erik's in the middle of a little bit of a crisis related to a Facebook post. We probably won't get into it to avoid getting him in any more trouble.
It's fine. It's bullshit. We will get into it. We'll introduce our guest. And
we'll wait until later in the show.
We will discuss. We shall discuss.
We definitely should.
Yes.
Anyways, tonight we have Jeff on. Woo! JSG in the house. You're all the way up you said New Hampshire right now?
Right? Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, yeah. You said one of those states. They're all like clustered together in a little conglomerate up there. How's it going?
We are.
How's it going up there?
I'm good. What's up, everybody? I'm Jeff Scott Gould, JSG. I'm a Jersey boy, but my girl, DJ Valentina, lives up in Rhode Island. So I do like a lot of commuting. So like New Jersey is right over here, and then let me see if I can do this right here. So New Jersey's over here, and I drive a lot up here to Rhode Island, and then I drive all the way back, and then I do my events, and then I drive all the way back up to Rhode Island. So that's what I do. But anyway, I work for the SE Event Group. I'm here to chop it up with these fellas, have a good time, talk some shit, maybe give out some tips, maybe not. Who knows? See where it goes.
That was actually going to be my first question when you mentioned that. If you drive everywhere, if like there's a train that runs down through there, so you can like work while you're driving, going down through. But cool. Yeah. So are you back now?
I'm back now.
Okay.
I just deleted it for now. I'll circle back.
You deleted the whole post?
Yeah, for now. Yeah. Yeah. It had to be deleted. Graham's going to try and handle it. But it's totally Graham's fault. You have a great suggestion, by the way. That's exactly what I'm going to do once I can focus on that.
So welcome back to the conversation.
Welcome back.
We just did a nice introduction.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Well, everything exploded 2 seconds ago. And just like one text message. He's like, look at what happened on Facebook. And I was like, what? I was like, oh my God.
Like literally the air just exited his body.
I hate social media sometimes. And it sucks that, we rely on it so heavily because it's so
prominent.
Yeah. And, important for our job specifically, being content creators, which I'm not at all, but y'all, as you know, are.
I was about to say, where are you going with this? You are not a content creator.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'll post a picture here and there.
You're a meme supporter or a meme spreader.
Yeah. No. So context from why I'm freaking out. I posted this review that we got. It's super long. It's like 8 paragraphs, and I'm talking thick paragraphs. Bride wrote us a review. My DJ Graham, he did an awesome job. Whatever. She loved him, and it was so thorough that it looked like Chat GPT wrote it. First,
over the top.
Way over the top. And I've seen some over the top reviews. It was too good. You've seen the Chat GPT thing. It looked like she was like, write 8 paragraphs about a Dowok Events DJ, Graham Blossom, that did a blah, blah, blah.
Make it raving.
It ended, the last paragraph even was like, in summary, comma, and then hit all the points that was just made. It was very specific, And anyway, so I posted the screenshot on Facebook, and I was like, wow, this is the longest 5-star review we may have ever gotten. ChatGPT could have had something to do with it, but I'll take it. LOL. And Graham comments on it. And that might be mean. I wasn't trying to be mean, but whatever. Graham comments on it and was like, you should delete this before the bride sees that. And I was like, I'm not trying to be mean, And then right off the bat, after that comment, it looks mean. God, I'm so worked up about it. And so, because he commented on it, she saw it on her wall and commented and just was like, basically, this is fucked up. I don't appreciate making fun of me for writing this review. And she wrote us this good review, and it's like, what the fuck? Oh my God, it's just the most awkward. How did this even come to fruition? What the fuck? How did we end up here?
Well, I think the biggest lesson, first and foremost, is that I think a lot of people forget that you can actually have conversations with real people before you put out, like him saying, did he put on Facebook, I think you should delete this? Or did
Yes,
he
it was a
DM
comment.
privately?
It was
He
a
shouldn't
comment.
have done that.
Yeah. So like
It's
the
his
comment,
fucking
like
fault.
I feel like a lot of people lose the wait, maybe I should just tell him first instead of like putting some more kerosene on the fire or putting kerosene on the fire. Like,
yes.
just like, hey, bro, like in a personal text, maybe this isn't the right move. And you're like, okay, let me get rid of it.
Maybe you should edit your text a little bit to make sure
Right.
this is aggressively saying this is a nice comment.
Yeah. Instead of just like, wow, I can't believe you just called the bride a stupid bitch. Or like, what? It's just some crazy shit like that. And it's like literally comparable to that. And Graham is also, you wouldn't know Graham, but he's the king of doing
stupid stuff.
Shit like that. Like, this is so in his wheelhouse. Right. And now
that's like a lot of stuff on DJ idea sharing could be the same way. I think half of those comments probably better served to the person they're sending to. It was a direct message as opposed to like, let me see what shit I could start with this one.
Right. Man,
absolutely.
I can't even believe that.
Yeah, those people that take someone else. It happens in DJ idea sharing all the time. Someone will take someone's post. Either they'll screenshot it, share it, or just steal the content and post it on DJ idea sharing and be like, what do you guys think of this? Question mark, question mark, question mark. It's like you're insinuating a tone that like you don't agree with what they posted.
Right.
I see that all the time, and like people will tag me in it, like because I have endless content. I'll post a new video, and someone will take like a screenshot of like the thumbnail or something, which is clickbait thumbnail, and then they'll put up there, what are your guys' thoughts on this? And it's like, and then people go off without ever watching the video, and then a bunch of people tag me and be like, hey, Rick, they didn't watch the video, they don't know that you didn't mean that. It's like, I just go in there and comment and be like, this is funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's best to just like let it ride.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, it's
like
fun.
You posted it, you just own it and just let it
I
ride.
actually like it when
that
people
was
do
not
that.
one of those situations. I just immediately
When people do that stuff for me,
like,
I always let it ride for my stuff because normally that just leads to more and more interaction and views on the actual video. So I let it ride.
If this was a relationship between me and some random DJ on the internet, I probably would not care. You know, it just, you took it the wrong way, and that sucks for you. I'm sorry. However, this is a literal client of mine. Like a bride.
Yeah, a little too close to home.
That's fucked up. I pissed her off. I mean, I offended her, and I didn't mean to, and that sucks. Like, how does that? I guarantee y'all, you've never been in this position. Like, this is awkward as fuck. Man, that really bit me, huh?
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, back to Jeff.
Yeah. All right.
So, Jeff is a DJ, of course, works for SE. We've been through that now. So, where did you first start into the entertainment industry? Did you start out as a DJ, or did you start out with something like a musician and work your way into DJing? What's kind of the storyline behind
Tell us
Jeff
about your
getting
background.
into the DJ industry?
So, I'm one of 10. I have 9 siblings, right?
Holy
so there's
crow.
10 of us in our tribe, right? So I didn't realize until I actually started DJing, but I think what got me into it is that I think my house was literally the genesis of Sirius XM, right? With so many kids in one house, every bedroom was different type of music. So you literally open up the door, you hear rock, you would hear disco, you hear hip hop, you hear whatever. You know, so like I didn't realize growing up that like when I started going to like family events. I know this song, I know this song, I know this song. Then in 8th grade, my mom needed me to do something because no human can watch 10 kids at one time. I started working at a restaurant. So now at a restaurant, in the kitchen, they're playing like big band and Frank Sinatra stuff, right? So now I'm hearing all this old stuff before anyone I even knew. Even it's music from like the history books, you know. So I just always loved music, and then me and my buddies told our parents we were going to the mall. We hopped on a train and went to New York City. Ended up in Times Square. We bought DJ equipment because it was shiny and bright and blinky. And then we came home, and I just fell in love from there. And that's where it kind of took off. My first event ever was across the street at the public school, and I put all my equipment in wagon and literally wag right across the street at 15 years old. I'm no mixing, no nothing. I just knew how to plug everything in and play songs.
Yeah.
So I went in there, and then the restaurant that I was working at, all the waitresses went to this local bar afterwards. So since they all went in there, I was going in this bar 16, 17, 18, and they told the owner of this bar, they're like, "Oh, this our busboy. He's a DJ. He's a DJ." I'm like, like throwing up on the inside. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what they mean." So I would finish cooking in a restaurant, doing dishes or busting, whatever I was doing that day, at like 10 o'clock. And then they would truck me down the street to the bar, and I started DJing. And then from there, that's just kind of where it took off.
Okay.
It's like, it's just very random.
Yeah. So super young. I didn't even, so like my first, like idea towards being a DJ, I've always been into music. I was like metal bands and drums and shit like that. I was like out of high school. I was like in college, but like half-assed in college. I don't even know if you could say I was in college. And I saw a YouTube video of DJ Craze, and I was like, holy shit, this just blew my mind. And it was, he's like on a pair of golden turntables doing like a Lil Wayne, a Millie, like some kind of turntable thing. And I was like, I want to do that. But I was 20, maybe 19, but, so 15, that's crazy.
I was more like Jeff. That was literally my kind of thing. I was working for a catering company, got exposed to the wedding industry through the catering company, saw the DJs. I was already playing music for the football team and the basketball team and making playlists and stuff. And then, one thing led to another, and picked up a little DJ board. Well, actually, no, I just DJ'd off virtual DJ home free on the computer. Just plugged it up and was just good at picking songs. It's kind of how it all started. And then I learned that you can actually mix. And I was like, whoa, how do you do this? Then went from there.
Yeah, so I got a couple decades on you guys. So, I mean, for me 15 is 1985. Right? So that's when I started. And I never understood what a mix was till I got home from the bar one night. And in New York radio, at the time, I think New York radio might have been the first area to have live DJs mixing at nightclubs. I think so. It's either us or LA, but if you guys know who DJ Red Alert is or Kid Capri.
I know Kid Capri.
Yeah, so it was WBLS and Red Alert was on, and he was literally mixing Hall & Oates into hip hop at the time, whatever it was. And the fact that I probably would have changed the station, but the fact that I knew Hall & Oates from my older brothers. So I'm like, oh, this is Hall & Oates, but it's got some weird beat behind it, And then he went into there, and that's how I like understood that you can actually stick songs together that way, like blend them. I was just like, you grew up on the radio, they played a song and they stopped. They played a song and they stopped. Played a song and stopped. And when I heard mix shows when I was coming back from the restaurant, that was like, ding, like the light went off.
Yeah.
So like I've been through, a few extra decades of music to like see the genesis of it. But I mean, it doesn't matter when you grew up; it's all the same where you heard it or how it hit you, But for me, it was there because that was like DJ AM, right? So if DJ AM, I'm sure you would know, but like Red Alert and Kid Capri they were doing the like crazy open format back in that time,
right?
For them to be playing like a George Michael track and a with a Run DMC track, with a Hall & Oates track, with a with a Queen track. They were doing that on the radio in 1985. So it was pretty interesting. It goes to show you that music is cyclical, or it comes back around.
Absolutely.
Because of how DJM blew it up, doing the same thing they were doing in '85.
So like me, we've never really talked before. I know you as basically top dog of Jason's stuff, at what point did you meet Janai? Like where did all that start and whatnot? I'm assuming it's been a long fucking time at this point.
Yeah. So Screaming Lunatic, which is a graphic designer, his name's Lorenzo.
Okay.
So he was doing graphic design for Jason's company, Sound Connection Entertainment, before it got scrunched down to SCE. And I was working for a company up in North Jersey, and I was friends with Lorenzo, and he was like helping us out on the side. He's like, dude, you got to meet this guy, Jason. He's doing all the stuff that you want to do. He's doing it already. You got to go there. So like, we just met, we clicked. And I want to say, I could be wrong with the math. It's 11 years, 12 years I've been there now with him or something like that. But we literally met through Lorenzo. Lorenzo was like the guy who kind of, put us together, because he was doing like, I went to school. I actually got 2 degrees, graphic design and culinary arts, but I was in graphic design school at the time when I met Lorenzo, and he was like, same thing. He was in graphic design. So that was our connecting thing. And then he side hustle, just helped me out on my events. Mm-hmm. But then he also hooked up with Jason. So that was like kind of the link of how I met Jason.
Cool.
And like any other DJ or any other career, like, hey, I start here. I want to keep going here. I want to keep going here. I want to keep going here. Mm-hmm. So he was like, that was like the evolution for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I've asked him, he's been on here before. What kind of, all right, we'll say 10 years, just for math's sake. But there's a huge gap between, we're saying 15 first gig and 10 years ago, when I have an idea of your career and whatnot. What were some building blocks before that? Like, where were you at before that?
Were you like running your own little wedding company or private event or clubs?
I only tried that once, which I'll never do again. I realized probably at that point that literary paperwork is my kryptonite, like for real kryptonite. Paperwork, office work, it's like the devil to me. So I always started out right out of high school. Me and my buddy, we literally looked through the yellow pages because we wanted to DJ the yellow pages, like from a phone book. Found a DJ company, started working with them. It turned out this guy who owned this company went to college with John Murphy, who owned this company called Star DJs. You guys know Mike Walter, Elite Entertainment out of Jersey? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I met Mike and that whole crew in 1990, maybe something like that, 91. I worked for them for a bunch and broke out with 3 other guys, tried to do it on our own. Didn't go so well. And then, ended up working for another company there. And then from there, I jumped with Jason. So it was like a lot of little companies, but all the companies I worked for, I always kind of was just using my, like, I'm like a geek. I'm like internal, like I'm like a geek. And I was always using all that stuff to kind of like push what I was doing at the time. Mm-hmm. Like I used to do, like, everyone does like flat screens. Mm-hmm. My first experience with like projectors or whatever, I don't know if you guys ever saw a 3-gun projector where it was RGB. You had to turn the dials and it would actually... it'll actually go like this way and make a picture.
Mix the color.
So I was doing screens at raves for like stuff like that before it turned into like a 40-pound just single, projector thing. Uh-huh. So like that, like I was always on. I mean, I started Photoshop when the most expensive computer had 16 gigabytes of RAM. So I was just like, I was just always the guy at the company, no matter I worked at, like, let's try this, let's try this. And I think that's what kind of led me to working with Jason, because Jason has that same mentality of like, let's try some new shit. So it was a good marriage, but that was how I kind of worked up to it, just a bunch of little stepping stones to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you, at least on Jani's basically team, as like almost like one of the video nerds. You know a lot about, especially like during COVID, the live streaming stuff. You and Bird both like went full in and were running all the SE streams and everything like that.
Yeah, I've never seen you not running around with a camera, actually. It's anytime I've ever seen you.
Is that like kind of your like niche of like what you like is a lot of the video side and the photo side of things?
I do love it. I mean, I always felt that, that's what told the story. Like you can't, like it's, you always needed something to show someone, like that. And it's funny if I look back on video, like the stuff we did, like 2013. I remember 2013 specifically that year because it's the first time I had to live stream, which was even unheard of. A best man couldn't get his visa from Brazil. Ooh, so we're at a wedding, and they handed me their Windows laptop and the keyboard, everything is the language is Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm sure this sounds weird to you, but like if you open up an app, you can get around the app just because you know the app, right?
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out how to, and there was no Zoom or anything. We were using, oh my God, it was before Ustream. I can't even remember what the app was, but it was just crazy. So we did that like back in 2013, and that was like I kind of fell in love with that part of it, what you could do with that. And then 2015 to 2017, I was working at this place down in South Jersey, college night. We're doing like 2,100 people a night. And I used to stream the nightclub. So like my friends that couldn't show up, it was only like 10 people that ever go on it. But if they couldn't make it, like, look, stream it. Cause you got a bunch of drunk sorority girls,
right,
doing things that really didn't make it to the internet.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? It was probably actually a little before that. We were just getting, and I loved video. I've always been on like trying to find a new way. Like I've been doing 360 cameras since they ever came out. But yeah, I mean, I love video. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the best, to me, it's the best weapon to, show future clients. And I think I started doing that because I hate paperwork. I hate being a salesperson. So I was like, if I can just capture everything on video and I can show them to them, I don't have to talk as much to people. Like,
I guess that is very true, though.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's like all the
Right?
evidence you need. Yeah.
Were you one of the first ones on the team, or I can't remember? I think you're the one that showed me it, but like you on your Zoom meetings with clients, you have like a video that runs beforehand through like OBS, and then you're just sitting there watching the reactions, and then you just jump in.
Yeah. I actually use Ecamm. I don't know if you know, Ecamm is like a Mac only. Yeah. So that's like, yeah. So like, I do a bunch of that stuff. I use Ecamm. I learned it during COVID. I use it for my appointments, and now I use it on all my media events, which is why I can, like I can, whatever it is, I could like I'm drawing on my face right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can do all this, like using my iPad, which is great for something like this. And whatever it is, when someone does something cool, I could be like, yes, you guys are rocking, like drop some confetti on them during appointments or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, I learned a lot of this from COVID, and I use this for all my appointments. I think I don't know, do you guys do appointments in person anymore? Are you guys all Zoom?
No, it's all Zoom.
We don't even do Zoom calls. We only do phone calls too, but I'm all ears.
Same.
Yeah.
So my goal was I had to take my office out of like reality and put it inside this window. So to me, Ecamm was like the best to do it. Like at my house, literally I took everything that was on the wall in my office that's in my bedroom, which is my office. Mm-hmm. But with Ecamm, I just have probably 40 or 50 call outs. Somebody asks for something, I could be like, I could just be like, whatever, I could just be like, oh, like, so-and-so, this is your venue. This is my furniture setup. This is what it looks like, blah, blah, blah. Those are, whatever it is. So like, I try and nerd out with that kind of stuff. As I just got spinning. Yeah.
So on your iPad, when you're doing the pen work and stuff, can you see like your screen, like your face, so you can like point out things?
Yeah, I think I just froze. Hold on a second. Hold back.
You're back.
We're back.
Yes, I can. Yeah, sorry about that, because I'm like clicking too much. Yeah, so this is an app that's built for Ecamm, and it's literally a transparent overlay over the window.
That's so cool.
So what helps a lot when I'm doing stuff for like corporate, like hospitals, they want to do site surveys. I'll try and find a picture online so I don't have to do a site survey. And I can literally take the picture of the venue with my Apple Pencil and draw everything in there. And they're like, oh,
right,
it's the most amazing thing.
I really can't see that. That's so funny.
Yeah. It's just like using tech in your favor. Uh-huh. Like I've always been a fan of that. Like another thing you guys want to geek out about Ecamm is that your phone now, with the latest version of iOS, you can use your phone. Like these three little cameras can be an actual phone from your iOS. So now Ecamm also sees this as a camera. So now at weddings, I literally can put this on a gimbal and I can just go wireless on a dance floor. Like no hooking up DS. I have like Polyland and Teradek, like freaking $3,000 wireless things and Sony DSLRs. I can literally just turn on Ecamm, turn this on, and wireless video camera simulcast like dance footage, like on the fly. It's insane. And even if you see Nick uses Ecamm when he does his Twitch stuff, Nick Spinelli.
Yeah.
So he's used a couple of times to be like, oh, this is my setup. But I'm just a big fan. I've always been a geek, and I just think that we can use technology to, in such cool ways other than just the status quo, and it starts with appointments. It's just.
Yeah. And
damn.
Damn. I felt like I missed the curve on that. Like during COVID, the live streaming stuff, like I learned how to do the streaming side of things, mostly for like the YouTube side of things, the video like of actual like DJing and cool movers, effects and stuff like that. But the ways of taking that and using it in the consultations is something I like missed out on. And it's crazy because like you're drawing and stuff on yours. And I didn't even realize that you can annotate in Zoom until like a month ago when one of my marketing guys was on the call and he was like walking me through like getting him into his Google account. He's like, yeah, just click here. And I'm like, how did you do that? And he's like, it's Zoom. It's annotate right here. I'm like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. God, that you can do that just to, like that would have helped me so many times in a consultation to just like what you did, pull up the photo of the setup and circle to explain this is the intelligent mover.
Right.
It does this and this. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Zoom is super powerful, and I'm actually using Ecamm as my virtual camera to get to Zoom. So I use Ecamm for everything. So Ecamm is like it's almost like your DJ setup. You have like your mixer behind your setup, and then your actual console is connected to that, right? Yep. So to me, Ecamm is the brain of my streaming stuff, and everything connects to it. But and Zoom is super powerful. I just think that Ecamm is just less friction. It looks more polished. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, because you can just click through stuff, and it's not like I have to go step to step to do something. Like it's all here in the window. So I mean, that's why I fell in love with it during COVID, and it kind of stuck with me. It's gotten super powerful, and the live streaming got me through. Like that literally paid my bills during COVID, and then I've been able to use it for some other events and even for some conference stuff, and now I just use it for my appointments and actually at events now. I run my whole media screens literally off of Ecamm. It's awesome.
So, what you want to do?
When you do the appointments and whatnot, are you like on a video chat like this using Ecamm and whatnot? Like, do you Zoom or do you what?
I do.
What is it like?
It's Ecamm into Zoom.
Right. Okay. So,
yeah.
But you are on like a video chat with them, and then you can like start a video, like bring up a video and share a video and do all the things you were saying. Like,
right. So the clients, for all the clients see it as Zoom. All they know is Zoom. And I think that's what's even more impressive is that, they're so used to seeing Zoom, and a lot of these people who do like, civilians, not like I call it was not.
And
a DJ,
you fucking
civilians.
Start remixing the shit.
Civilians are on like they're in Zoom hell all day long, and so now when they see something that's, at home I have a DSLR and like a short throw lens. I'm at my girl's house, so I'm just this is kind of put together. But like when they see what you do, and they're like, "How's he doing this in Zoom? It's so amazing."
How do you just make confetti fall?
For the client, all the client thinks is it's a Zoom window. For me, I have like 9 things hooked up because I'm trying to give them as close as I can to them being in my office. And I know that like they're probably gonna go visit, 2 or 6 other entertainment companies. So if this is my first point of contact with them, I'm trying to give them just a little bit of like wow and extra polish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
kind of like the extra stuff when they were in person, you want a water, you want a drink. And you do all these little extra things. You maybe give them a little few knickknacks when they come in the office to take back with them. You can't do that virtually, so you go over the top on the actual presentation side of things. That's so cool.
And just like OBS, where you can have like widgets and stuff, Ecamm has widgets as well. So there's times I can literally like put up a window and open up a website, and the website is as active as if like they're in front of me watching my computer screen. So like I can click on so if they're like, oh, it's a brand new video, they got a virtual tour and I've never been there before, I can pull up their website. We can click on the virtual tour. We can watch it together right through Ecamm, but they're watching it through Zoom. And I didn't have to go through Zoom and be like, oh, share my window, open up Chrome, blah, blah, blah. Like it's all like so fluid, which is why I love Ecamm for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it sounds like a lot of work, but once it's set up, it's like anything else. Like it's a template, like anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like automation, I guess, but for appointments.
Right. How much is Ecamm?
Yeah.
How much does that?
It's a good question. The pro version,
Spitball.
I don't even know. 24 a month, is it? Is that right? 24 a
It's
month?
a
I'm not really
monthly
sure.
fee.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not a lot. I mean, and you can multicast. Like I can literally. I mean, you can use this if I was hosting this. I mean, I could stream. I think up to 99 destinations right through here. I can have up to 10 guests inside here. You know, like it's pretty powerful for what it is. Honestly, it's one of those set it forget it. It's on my auto pay.
I'm sure. Yeah,
it's paid for itself. You know what I mean? Yeah, but it's not terribly expensive. Nah.
Cool. So
Yeah.
you mentioned some on the event side of things, and kind of wanted to touch on just the volume of events I know you take on, but you mentioned corporate events in there, and I don't really know of you or I've seen much of you doing corporate events from your social perspective. So do you do quite a bit of corporate events outside of all the weddings that you take on as well?
I mean, I do a pretty good amount. I mean, I'm actually getting more. Recently, I've been seeing me get more, but a lot of my corporate stuff seems to be more on the production side.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't know why we've gotten hooked up at hospitals, but a bunch of my corporate events where, you know, they don't want you to shoot anything.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you guys done events where
Yes.
Whether they tell you or not, it's like one of those, like, you can tell, like, you shouldn't take a picture, you shouldn't post any footage.
Mm-hmm.
So we do like a lot of that kind of stuff. But the corporate stuff, I think I'm more behind the scenes. You know, I would think any travel. I mean, me and Jay used to do a lot of, like, you know, we were doing stuff for like Wedding Wire and stuff like that. We would go out and, similar to like any conference, you know, go out and DJ a party, but we'd shoot like a highlight reel for them, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a lot of my corporate stuff is you know, microphones and screens and
Microphones, screens, like, and yeah, just projection shows and TVs, I imagine.
Right. Yeah.
Not much on the lighting.
Show for them.
Not much music at all, other than in between stuff. Yeah. Typical corporate.
Yeah, I mean, like some galas will do some lighting, you know, on that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, for me, I'm mostly weddings, nightlife, and then, you know, all the other stuff is kind of sprinkled in between.
So how many events do you roughly do in a year? It's always a good question for you Jersey boys.
Yeah. So last year, and I know last year was kind of like the end of still like my
push.
Last COVID overflow.
Yep.
But Bird, anyone that works with me knows Bird. Birdman 944 on Instagram. He works with me all the time. He actually counted. I never count. So that's another thing. People are like, how do you know how many events you have? To me, counting, going on there is like paperwork, and I just like I start getting rashes. But he counted it. I think he said without any nightlife stuff, we did, just me and Bird did 212 last year events.
That's fun.
And
it's
then
like all of
the
Erik's
where
company.
That had like some nightlife stuff, you know,
or half of it at least.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But you know, it's weird, dude. Like I love this. Like I love it. Like I had a Saturday night off. I was like, what? I had a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, and it's Saturday, so I wasn't working. But it was the weirdest thing. I'm like, what do I do? I don't even know what to do. I'm like, what do I don't want to go anywhere where civilians are, because all these civilians that's what they do in the weekends, and everything's too crowded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday go out and see the world guy, you know, because that's like where it's like a little lighter.
Yep.
You know. But I mean, I love what I do. So last year was 212. 21 was, I don't even know. 21 was more than that. But I mean, I usually, I would say maybe around 100, in between 100 to 160, depending on what I'm doing a year ish.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like to, like, I know we speculate, but I'd really love to have like concrete facts as to why so many events happen up in New Jersey and New York on non-weekend days.
It really is like like where we live, it is just, it's not a fair comparison. You know what I mean? Like we just don't have events unless it's Saturday.
Like,
I mean, we have Friday, Sunday. Okay, sure, maybe.
Like my speculation is always that it's the venue, it's the demand versus the venue, and that's what pushes the weekday events.
I don't know.
That's my speculation.
Yes. So you guys don't have ocean, like, so for us,
not really.
I can tell you what started in parts of Jersey. So, Jersey, like the Jersey beaches, like it really is a super gorgeous place in summer. And there's a lot of people that just do long weekends. So I know that a lot of these venues that are on the water, since we have such, for our state, we have so much coastline.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many beautiful venues on the water that Thursday started because like the weekends got filled up. And these people like, well, our family has always gone down the shore. Can we get married on a Thursday at your property? And they're like, sure. Mm-hmm. And then these venues actually, when they first started, they were giving discounts because it was like an off day.
Right.
And then, and then it started catching on because once people see that, like, oh, a Thursday wasn't, I mean, it probably took 3 or 4 years, but they saw like, oh, Thursday weddings aren't so bad. Then people started doing it more. And then they realized people will party harder from a Thursday going into the weekend as opposed to Sunday going into a work
Monday.
week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So by us, I want to say it might be because of our geography that started it, because I feel for us it started by the shore, mm-hmm. because there's beautiful like beach things and people are like, all right, it's $350 a night on a Saturday. We can get it for, I don't know, $210 on a Thursday. Now the prices are just the same, mm-hmm. but Thursdays became a norm. And because of COVID, almost every day is just like a whatever.
Yeah, it sounds like people from New Jersey did the math on what day can I get more fucked up and party harder, and landed on it was Thursday, and that is why.
Well, and it sounds
truth,
like
I swear to, we're truth. Like I that's my theory on it for sure.
And
100%.
definitely it makes sense because people always emulate what they see. So as soon as some people start to do something on a show, it's just like how the special effects in the industry, they start up in Jersey and they trickle their way down throughout the rest of it. Sometimes they quickly jump to California in that, but at least the East Coast down, stuff normally starts up here, like the Cold Spark thing. It like just in the last 2 years is like a super popular thing finally here. And it's been a thing for, God, almost a decade practically.
We're going to be using bedroom lamps soon. I can see it on your setups.
Well,
you guys are like the leaders in what would that be called? Like
the trendsetters.
Trendsetter. Yeah,
the
trend-setting shit. Like the DJ setup you pulled up on the screen. I've never seen anything like that in person, and I don't know if quote unquote everyone's doing that up there necessarily. I'm sure that y'all are
very
fucking top dogs, but it's heard of, down here. If someone did that, it would literally be like, yet again, not the right words. I'm sure people are like, holy shit up there too, but you get my point.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. I mean, I think all it takes is for someone in your, like, whatever your big dog event cater hall, like it only takes like 1 or 2 to start something, mm-hmm. like, and then the thing is, if they were successful with it, mm-hmm. just like any other industry, everyone else who's trying to keep up with whatever the leader or the person that owns that event space, they're all going to try and do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't see how it wouldn't work.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even. I don't know if I even. If I said it wouldn't work, that's not what I meant. It's more like I just don't see it.
It's not common here. Yeah,
it's not common at all. I would say Rick has the fanciest.
I'm trying to push the trends harder than anybody else down here, practically. Yeah. I mean, especially in our dedicated city. I don't know anybody on my level.
It's like an ongoing joke that I just bought white speakers for the first time. Like that's like
it's crazy. Like I always go, the Cold Sparks is like the newest thing down here, but like I've been offering Cold Sparks down here since I practically got here. Like I got them in 2018. We've been doing Cold Sparks since then, and like I'm just now starting to see like people actually ask about it. Mm-hmm. Like every consultation was like, have you seen Cold Sparks? No. Awesome. Let me show you this cool thing. And they're just blown away by this amazing, awesome thing. And same thing for DJs and like other DJs around here that I talk to. They're like, what's a cold spark? And the AV companies, they don't know what the hell they are. And it's just like, this is like been a thing for a long time. Like, it's not new by any means, but it's just very new to us.
How long have you been rocking the setup you showed us? Or is it ever changing? I'm sure it is changing.
Yeah, so,
furniture's been around.
Well, yeah,
a while.
I mean, that actual furniture piece we got in, I think I got in 2011, 12.
Jesus.
Yeah, like, so, yeah, I got it a while back. And it was me and Jen, I ordered at the same time. And we got it from a place, the company's called Hoverboard. They're out in Germany. They won't even produce it anymore because it's too expensive to find that wood. Because I was trying to get the top plate replaced. So the guy doesn't even make it anymore. Or won't. I'm sorry, he won't ship it to the States anymore. But I think 2011, 2012, and I think the first time anyone saw it is I did a booth for Bose that same year at the expo in Jersey when they saw it. And the reason I even got into DJ furniture is between like 2009, 2011-ish, we started getting recommended at some of these venues that started using furniture for the head table. And I saw that. I was like, I'm like, God, that'd be kind of dope for like a DJ setup, because I feel like we're bringing in this stuff and these places are so bougie, and we look like a DJ setup, and we should not look like a DJ setup. We should look like a part of the space, you know? So I just started doing homework, and then I tried my damnedest to find someone in the States, and nobody could do it. And I had to find someone in Germany. And as for what the hell we went through to get it over here.
Right. Well, now
2011, 2012, I think.
Now it's Danny Max, you know, he's really brought that to the
He definitely is
to the public. You know, like now it's super accessible.
He brought it at a great price point too, and now you got
he did what needed to be done.
Yeah,
you know,
and
like,
now you got like Pro X and all the other bigger companies are trying to emulate it finally. And
well, I don't even know who did it first, honestly, but Danny Max is obviously the biggest of all that. But
I mean, we were in our area. We were probably one of the earlier. I mean, I don't remember seeing anyone else doing it. I'm not going to say I was the first one, but we're definitely like I think myself and Jen are probably the earliest adopters of it. I mean, once everyone saw it at the expo, I was like, I don't know, we should do this. I'm like, fuck it, it's brand new. I want to play on it. Everybody saw it that year, but when they realized what it costs, you know, everyone was trying to find it. Once they realized what it cost when we were getting at the time over there, it was like ridiculous, you know. Right. It was like $6,000, and then plus shipping, and shipping was not DHL, not even DHL. That was like on a boat, and then it went to like a port. You had
to get a
which I've never been to a port before. Where you know those big like crates that come off like those things, and we're driving up with our truck and trailer like, it was the strangest experience for me, but I love it. But you know what? The one thing I will say about this before we move on is that I think a lot of DJs always look at like, well, he has it. For me, I always look at like what's going to be good for my clients. Like F you guys, because like we're not selling for you.
Right.
I think that's people like, well, he has a furniture piece, so if I get it, then I'm copying him. It's like no, it's like it's for the couples. It's for the corporate clients, for the bar mitzvah families. Like that's who you're selling to. Like F the people down the road. I say all the time because like in New Jersey, literally, if you tie your shoe. And then, like, you walk up, you go 2 blocks, and you tie your shoe, you look up again, there's a DJ. And you go into the pizza store, and there's a DJ. And you go to the mall, there's another DJ. Like, DJs are, like, every other block in New Jersey. There's so many of us. So, like, you can't get stuff to impress the other DJ. It's like, what's going to impress your clients? Or what works for you, for your, you know? So, like, never do something because someone else has it. I mean, don't go straight up jacking someone's shit because that's fucked up. But, I mean, when you're trying to create something, like Asteratubes, all right? It's like, no one invented it. Astera invented those. So, like, just because your buddy has Asteratubes doesn't mean you can't get Asteratubes. Like, the average client knows nothing of this. Yeah, right. I mean, just look at Rick with Cold Spark.
It's true. It's true. You know,
he's had it for 5 years and no one knows about it.
I mean, if you think about DJ furniture or Asteratubes, anything like that. Let's say I'm just a bride, right? I've never seen that in my life. I mean, there's a chance because of Pinterest or Instagram, but like for the most part, they know oh, a DJ has speakers. That's all they know, you know? So anything beyond that, I would imagine 90% of the world has never seen something extravagant like that. They didn't even know it existed. Now, us, obviously, we're in the mix, so that's different, you know? So, like you said, like taking, you know, just white speakers, example. I get a pair of white speakers. All the DJs have it, but we're also... we're kind of probably in the top 1% of DJs in the world. Not that we're the best, but you think 99% of DJs are bedroom guys, you know, and no hate to that, but we're, you know, full-time working DJs, and we're in the Facebook groups, we're in the know, we're on top of the trends and whatnot. So, you know, us even being 12 years late on DJ furniture, still 90% of the world has never seen that. You know what? So,
you know, I just thought about this. This is funny, but I don't know of really anyone on the SE team that has white speakers. Tell me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but...
Yeah, all black speakers. Do you guys not care, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, why aren't you guys on the white speaker train? Come on.
It's like you don't even care about your clients.
It's interesting for me, so... I always thought, for aesthetically, my setup, I always just thought my back line, like
I know my opinion, because I hate white speakers too. But
yeah, so for me, like my furniture is like, you know, it's like white and it's pretty, and it's like that, especially that big one to me. It's got that grand piano finish on it and stuff, right? So I always thought, to me, that's the standout, and everything else is like quote unquote the back line. In other words, in the shadows.
Yeah.
Right. I use like a black facade, which is basically a closet. You look behind there, it's a shit show. But like the speaker, so I just thought if everything, like the back line was black and whatever, it almost like disappears, fades in, and then
it
boom
pops.
is the furniture, and like that's the focus, you know. Especially like when you have like your moving heads going and stuff like that, like what's gonna pop is like your setup, and like obviously you, because you're DJing, performing on an open piece that everyone can see. So I've personally never been a fan, and even my furniture, I love the contrast of like the black gear in the white furniture. I was never like all white on white on white on white on white on white.
It's just too much.
We've had to. There's certain riders for corporate stuff, or like these bougie quinceañera Sweet 16 done where everything had to be white. So we've had to get them.
That's
you know,
crazy.
but I've never. Yeah, I even went to like I had like I carry like white socks and black socks for like my, I know you call them totems or truss towers or whatever they are. So like those might change. Like one side, like my setup might be black truss totem socks. The other side of the room might be white because the walls are. But like for me, I'm always about aesthetics. I think honestly, half the battle, and like the guests, before you even play a note, if your stuff looks sexy as hell, like they already, you know, they have a perception of it. You know, they already know, like Rick, when they see your setup and they're like, okay, you know, like I'm gonna, this guy, they know you're gonna be standing there doing it. Like you're not hiding, but even if you're not there right now, they know like, okay, the decks are out.
The best,
there's something different. It's open. He's in it. He's going to be part of it, you know?
The best compliments I get, because I am one of the few in here that has DJ furniture, but I showed up to a country club. I have a DJ before, first time. I set up. I hadn't played anything. I just played the first song for just a sound check and everything. And all of the venue fucking staff like comes out of the woodwork and is just standing there. And I'm like, after the song finishes and I tune my drive rack and everything, I'm just like, can I help you guys? And they're like, you're like the best DJ we've ever seen. Like, this is your setup and this is amazing. And I'm like, what? Confused? Like, what? Like, yeah, like, just like the aesthetics and like it pops and like and I'm like, who has been here before? Like, what is going on here?
You just need a pair of glasses to shine through that conversation. Just be like, well, don't mind if I do take a compliment.
Yeah, but I mean, first impressions are everything, even like down to what you're wearing. You know, like it's all about impressions are impressions, whether your setup is like over the top or intimate. I mean, I've done the little corner setup and I've done the big stuff. Like to me, it's just first impressions are everything.
Yeah, I have a fun story of that when I was young, Rick, when I first started DJing. I'm probably 17 or 18 in this wedding, but you know, I'm 17 or 18. It's a hot ass summer August day. I show up gym shorts and a tank top, the setup. I brought my clothes, my nice clothes and everything. I showed up and everything, and I happened to see the bride when I'm setting up everything. And like, it didn't occur to me that she was giving me judgmental looks or anything, but like setting up, and I was working for a company. And then at the end of the night, after I changed and everything, she literally told me that. She's like, yeah, I was very skeptical at first when I saw you setting up in that tank top and everything. I was like, who kind of crazy trash kid is going to be DJing my wedding? And then you like put on the dress with the suit and the tie and everything, and then you killed it tonight. It was awesome. And she's like, just a tip of advice, I would not wear a tank top when you go to set up. And I was like, yeah, that means a lot. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely go shirtless.
Was always, shirtless from there on out.
I agree. You should you know what? You're right.
Yes.
I'll never wear a shirt again for setup.
You'll make that's a first impression for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you had to bet, what's the next big thing for private events? What's your prediction? What's an upcoming trend?
Well, for us, the tubes are finally making it here. So
now Rick Webb turned tubes accessible, and now everyone has tubes.
Hell yeah. What's your take on that,
yeah,
Jeff?
You're from the north. The trends are started up here.
What's the trend that you see popping off next?
Yeah, what's something?
I never know how to pronounce this word, but experiential, like when you're like people experience stuff. How do you say it? It's experiential. So it's to me, it's going to be stuff that people are going to be engulfed in an experience. So I don't think it's necessarily a single product. I think it's like, people used to be like, oh, this has to be an Instagrammable moment. This has to be an Instagrammable moment. Now I think it has to be an experience. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you a really good example. I DJ'd Jason Janai's wedding just recently, right, in Jersey City. Mm-hmm. And you would think, right, he owns the company, we're going to bring out every single toy we own. Mm-hmm. Nope.
I saw that.
No sparks.
I was blown away.
No clouds, no CO2. What we did is we created experiences. So I'll give you an example.
Cupid Shuffle.
We had 3 of our favorite musicians work with us: the sax player, percussionist, violinist, all women, right? We nixed introductions. We came out of cocktail hour. The venue had to get dinner orders, so people came in, right? Mm-hmm. We did that. One of our good friends, Marcello Pedalino, was just hosting the introductions because he's known Jason for a very, very long time. I was DJing that part. So what we did is we got the dinner orders, and then we literally had Jason and Lauren walk onto the dance floor and just invited them up to the dance floor, open up the room with the dance set, right? We created this experience. No musicians yet. This was just kind of like a warm up to the room. And the way we did it was just to get people onto the dance floor. As soon as we got enough people on the dance floor, Marcello stops the music. We create this circle, right? And then from there, we do the first dance, parents' dances, a couple of things. Musicians come on, create this experience with the musicians. You know what I mean? Like, and then stop for dinner. While we stop for dinner, getting ready for dinner, our saxophone player comes out, and we did this whole set. Like, we pre-planned it, but she just came out. The music was there. She was like walking through the crowd. And yes, I mean, Gabby, who's sax player, she's beautiful. She's like Little Mermaid redhead, like red hair. I mean, not the old school Little Mermaid, not the newer one, because that one's a little more older. Anyway, okay. So we created this thing for that, right? After dinner, we bring our violinist up, and we timed it so that 2 slow songs, and then we made an edit from a slow song to a fast song, right? On that 3rd slow song, we bring the couple up, which is Jason and Lauren, to slow dance, right? I get on the microphone, I get everyone like a concert, pull out their flashlights, black out the room, right? Mm-hmm. Doing this acoustic version of Yellow, Coldplay. So I'm talking to my buddy Josh, who's doing all the lighting. We have like 14 fixtures in the room. The room goes dark. And as soon as the acoustic guy's like, it was all yellow, the room goes yellow. Everyone's doing the flashlight, right? Mm-hmm. So you get the chills like this. You're at a concert. So you know what I mean by the experience, right? Mm-hmm. So everyone's like, what? They don't even realize now we got 160 people doing stuff they didn't know they were going to do. And then we packed the dance floor. Right. And then we surprised Jay with like these letters, like Team Janai, like a champagne march at a club. So like for me, I mean, those are just small examples, but just to me, I think the next thing is creating experiences, taking just everything you already own, but like just turning it a little differently and packaging it differently. So like this way they're not seeing it in the same order. You know, like there's nothing wrong. I'm sure you guys do your wedding thing different than we do up here. Like we're like a lot of dancing in between every single little thing. Someone drops the fork, we're dancing. You know what I mean? It doesn't even matter. It's not like you wait till the food's over. Like, oh, the spoon's down, let's go dancing. But like there's nothing wrong with you guys taking an idea and telling a couple like wedding day, right? F them, they're paying whatever $100,000, $200,000 to a venue. Be like, hey, let's take what we already own and twist it. So for me, I think the future is going to be experiential, however you say that word. Somebody help me in the chat.
Yeah, right.
So like what you're saying reminds me a lot of like what the food industry is going, like a lot of the kind of those restaurant experiences now that kind of a lot of the chains are creating, like Roof Chris and stuff. They do a lot of that stuff. Like one of the waiters at one of the restaurants I was at in Nashville came up and said basically the line, and it stuck to me, I'm here to guide you through your experience tonight. Instead of like talking about the food or everything, your experience tonight. And then throughout the night, anything that he brought to the table, he would make sure cameras were ready, for Instagrammable moments. Like, we're going to light this on fire and stuff like that. Explain what's about to happen to create those moments. So that sounds a lot of like what you're talking about with the DJ side, is basically taking what's already happening and just heightening it, like making moments out of things that normally are just, they happen. They're just blah throughout the night.
Right.
Yeah. It's like that time, I was supposed to play Butterfly Kisses for the first dance, and I didn't preview the illegal download that I did, and it was a punk rock cover, and I didn't have Wi-Fi, and that was just it. Yeah, it was like, it may have been like a metal cover, but I like started playing it, and I was like, ooh, oh, that's not it, and I like switched it to Van Morrison, Dance in the Moonlight, some shit. It doesn't even matter. I just switched it to some other song that was like in my view on Serato. And that was just like, I created an experience that was just not expected,
Nor wanted.
A lot of tears.
I've done it probably a dozen times now, but we did it this weekend where they wanted a custom edit where it was a slow to a fast song. And instead of it being, so it was the father-daughter dance. So instead of doing father-daughter first, I said, let's flip it. And then, when that fast song comes on, we open the dance floor up with that and invite everyone up. So it's unexpected, creates that experience, and brings everyone together.
I was just gonna say that's a good way to do it. That's
one of the easiest ones to do.
That's like a great small example. It's a good little, even if you can get people to do that, and that's different, to do that all the time, even that alone, because people, even if it's 3 songs, you got those people up before they sit down for like the 6 pieces of lettuce that's going to be on their table. Like even that alone, it's going to change the mentality of the entire night.
Yeah.
Like you already got all these heartbeats move a little faster than they're supposed to, like an hour and a half before they're supposed to. They don't realize that they just did it, but because the way you transition that and flipped it around, which is taking, again, if you look at like what you own and then look at formalities, just taking the formalities and like, instead of doing it like this, let's just do it like that, Yeah. It's just a great way to do it.
I think one of the easiest ones, because it blows my mind that I thought everyone did this, but asking everyone to get on up out of their seats and hoot and holler for the bride and groom to come in. Until I started, like, over the last year or so looking on social media, I'm amazed at how many DJs do introductions without ever doing that. They just run through the names. Here comes the bride and groom, make some noise, and everyone's still sitting down. Like, that is just literally a little change in what you're saying, asking everyone to go a little bit further, to do a little bit more. And honestly, it helps you really judge how hard you're going to have to work on this crowd, or how you're going to have to interact with them the rest of the night.
That is the truth.
Like the meter.
That is the gauge of...
Oh, my God.
Right.
It's only happened maybe a handful of times, but when you get in a room and you say that opening line of something like, it's time for the reception of Jason and Jan... Yeah, and you hear crickets, and you're like, come on, someone make some... And you're like... Whoa, this is going to be a difficult one tonight.
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep.
Awesome. I definitely think that's a cool trend coming on. We're definitely catching up, though. We got a lot of things that we need to catch up on.
Yeah, we're light years behind. That's funny. I'm light years behind you.
I think the bigger...
I just got my white speakers. I'm good for now.
The biggest challenge for
One
me...
thing at a time here. Jesus Christ.
the biggest challenge for me down here is actually, like, a lot of these effects and stuff are just, like, every venue's, like, hard no. Like, let me come show you. Let me show you what these are. Hard no. And we got some bad foul players involved that, like, they bring dry ice for the dancing on the cloud and they don't clean up the residue afterwards that put on the dance floor, and it kind of hurts the floor, damages the floor in some way. Oh my God. I hear so many horror stories of, like, they let it happen once and now they won't allow it to happen again.
Yeah. So, I mean, it happens at every market. For us in Jersey, there were some venues where we literally called the fire marshal, and it cost us, but whatever, because by us, they're like, one guy will own like 9 venues, and they're like money venues. So we've had it where fire marshal came down, tested it, checked it out, approved it, and hey, we can do this, but we're gonna send down a fireman or fire inspector every time you're at the event. It's going to cost you $150, but you can do it. Yeah, so I think there's a way, like, it's cool, but we can also make money on it. I don't know what it was, but for us, like, there, I know for sure there's like 8 or 9 venues by us, owned by the same owner, where we just tell the client we're allowed to do it. A fire marshal is going to come out an hour before and inspect it. We just pass the price along to them, but it was a workaround for us because these were like, in our area, these are some of the venues where we're at a lot. And these clients, they wanted it. So we had to think of, like, shit, how do we work around this? So we're like, all right, let's go to the people who actually put out fires. And if they say it's okay, there's no way the venue can't say it's okay. So they said it was okay. It cost us and it cost the client, but we were able to work around it. And that not to say that's not going to work by you, but for us, when it came to Sparks, for this particular little circuit of venues, we were able to work around it.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, cool. Well, we are actually a little bit over the top of the hour now. So, Jeff, if anyone would like to connect with you after this podcast and get a hold of you, where is the best place they can reach you at?
At Jeff Scott Gould, pretty much everywhere.
What's your main platform you like to focus on?
Insta?
Facebook?
I mean, honestly, like, probably I would say IG. But if you, I mean, you can literally go to jeffscottgould.com, because that's like my digital EPK, and that's like in my bio. So like that. So I use that a lot for, for like anywhere I can put like a link in bio, because that'll list everything about me, all my links, like where to contact SE about me.
Awesome.
That's another. You guys use Linktree? You guys use Linktree?
I use Linktree. Yeah.
I use solo.to. That's one to check out.
You're not the only one that said that to me.
Yeah, so because the reason I like solo.to is because it's a way sexier interface. It just looks cleaner. It looks like, it looks polished, and that's what I use for my. I was on Linktree, but now I'm on solo.to because I think it's a great way for your EPK. You can literally use it as a website. If you're just a solo op, you go on solo.to. It can look like your website for clients that you don't even need to. It just looks more polished on the front end. But anyway, that's where you can find me.
That's cool. All right, Eric, any last words?
Yes. Goodbye.
Any new updates on the Facebook post?
No, I'm waiting. I got to yell at someone. I just got to choose who I'm going to yell at first.
All right. So next week we'll have more details on the Facebook drama from Mr. Eric.
Yes.
And we'll have
back.
And next week, we'll see you guys with DJ Barr back on the podcast.
Ooh, Barr. For the first time?
Yeah, for the first time? Third time.
Woo,
Anyways, Jeff, it was a blast having you on here.
Me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I love your effects, the confetti and everything. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys are listening to this podcast, wherever you might be listening to it, you can go watch the video version on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube watching the video version, you can go listen to it everywhere. Spotify, Anchor. I don't think Anchor exists anymore. I think Spotify bought it out. But yeah, all those sources, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you guys can listen to it. Be sure to like it. Be sure to subscribe if you're on there, or follow the stream of the podcast. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and good night.